Hello, this is Angela Anderson. Thanks for joining me for this acrylic painting tutorial. In this video, I'm going to be showing you how to paint a woman with some flowers in her hair. This is part of our Impressionist Woman series, our red head tonight. I'm looking forward to this. It's been a really fun series. We've done 3 so far, so this is number 4. I've got my husband, Mark, with me.
Hey there, everybody.
He's been in a chat for our live show tonight, so if you've got questions while I'm painting this, you can ask them, and I'll try to answer them. Let's get started. Alrighty, so I'm going to be using a 10 by 10 inch canvas today. This is the Fredrix Canvas. They're 12 ounce Dixie. The 12 ounce size just means the weight of the thickness of the cotton canvas that they stretch on here is a really good thicker quality than most of the ones that you get on a discount, store. So I really like them. They're really nice and they're very tightly stretched. All right, here's one of the other girls from our series. This was actually number 2. This is the last one that we did, the blonde haired lady, and then this was our first one. So we are going to be, I can't show them all 3 on camera at the same time. Especially not with this in the way. Got somebody texting me here, so turn that off. Grandma chat's texting photos of the grandbaby. That's a highlight of my day. I'll be looking for those later.
All right, so we're going
to... Speaking of that, I got a Mother's Day card yesterday. Came a little late from Liam. It was pretty awesome. He's 1, so...
And it's good to see his mom put some scribbles on there too.
Right, yeah, she worked hard on that. All right. He's obviously gets his talent from his grandpa. I take that back.
The truth hurts.
All right, let's go over brushes here real quick. Sorry, that was... I didn't mean it, Liam. I couldn't resist.
Wow. Now you're insulting Liam? I see how that is.
Okay. Number 6, Filbert. Number 6, Eggbert. This is part of the Princeton Aspen series. These black-handled brushes. They've got a little bit stiffer qualities, so if you've got like a hog bristle brush or something like that, you could use that instead. These are the synthetic hog bristles, so they don't get floppy when you add water to them, which is nice. But if you don't have these exact sizes, just use what you've got that's, a similar brush. The 6100 series that I use will also work for this, or really any similar sized brushes should work just fine. I find that the little bit sturdier brushes, these Aspen, are a little bit more firm, and they just work better for pushing the paint around since we do a little bit thicker application with these Impressionist Girl series. Okay, so I've got an 8 flat, a 6 angle, a 2 round, a 2 aught round, and a 4 bright. So those will be the ones that I'll be using tonight, I think. And let's go over our colors really quick. I've got burnt umber, burnt sienna, and quinacridone burnt orange, yellow oxide, cadmium yellow medium, phthalo green yellow shade, cobalt teal, phthalo blue green shade, dioxazine purple, quinacridone magenta. This is unbleached titanium, titanium white, and then this is some cadmium red medium and some ultramarine blue. I forgot I was going to need those for the skin tones. It's just easier to mix the skin tones with those colors, plus some yellow oxide. So, all right.
Sounds like a group. The skin tones.
The skin tones. All right, so I've already pre-sketched here, but I'll show you when I'm going to sketch it with my brush here for you. I'm going to mix up some burnt sienna and yellow oxide, just kind of 50-50 here, and I'm going to throw out a little bit of glazing medium just for, come on, if I can get it to come out. There we go. Mark ordered me some watercolors for Mother's Day today.
Yes, I did.
It's a little late, and I ordered them myself. And he just was like, why don't you order those for yourself and send yourself a gift card along with it.
What?
What did you say? No. What did you call? I can't remember what you said. It was
a gift card? Wait a minute.
Not
here.
a gift card.
Oh.
A card.
A card,
said this is a gift from Mark.
It's a gift, yeah.
So there you go.
Yeah, it was very generous of me.
Appreciate it.
I knew exactly what you wanted.
It's so weird how that worked out.
And I was just sitting here working, minding my own business, and ordered you some paints. That's amazing.
I've gotten on a watercolor kick lately, gouache and watercolor. So where is my example painting? Oh, there it is. This was my gouache that I did on Mother's Day. Pretty fun. I don't know. I'm just playing with it. I don't know enough about it to teach it, so don't ask me. But as soon as I feel confident, I will start teaching some watercolor too. I promise. It is not yet. It's literally the first that I've done ever using gouache. So
I mean, that looks like what Liam did for Mother's Day. Which is obviously better than what I could do, apparently. All right. Teach.
Back to teach. Okay. So you're going to want to just fill up the main area here with her head. The basic shape is kind of, she's obviously got this poofed out way bigger than the back of her head. Her back of her head is probably somewhere in here. So this hair is very much exaggerated up here. But you can kind of see the shape of the head in here and where the neck comes up like this. So you kind of just have to guess sort of, that this is sort of the back of the head area here. But the front of the face is angled pretty sharply to this side. This is probably one of the trickier ones that we've done. So if you do not want to put the face in, you could just kind of tilt the whole thing a little bit and maybe leave the bangs out and just do the back of the head kind of similar to how we did this girl right here. So you could probably, if the composition of having the side of the face showing really freaks you out, just switch the composition to something like this, make the red a little fuller, and of course the flowers are a little bit different, but it would work just as well. So don't feel like you have to do this exactly the way I'm doing it on mine. All right, so it angles down. This line here goes almost straight down, and then it angles in for the eye right there. Then it rounds out, and it doesn't come out much farther than that. It comes out just a little bit farther, so maybe a finger's width out, and then down that angle, right? Comes out a little bit for a lip. There's just a little bit of a lip right there showing. Don't do too much. And then it very, very gently kind of curves back in and back around. So that is almost straight. If you put your pen or your, brush in there, you can see how very little that line moves. It's very little wiggle right there for that lip. And then it curves in back. She doesn't have a very sharp chin. It's a little bit soft. And I can relate. And then then the line of the neck comes back. So this, trying to think. Yeah, so if you did a line from the bangs, from that top where the bangs come down there, and kind of did a triangle there, that's to maybe the halfway mark on the canvas here. This neck part here is going to bisect that. I don't know if that makes sense, but let me bring it up a little bit maybe. And then there's a little bit of her dress showing here, so we may just kind of do a little bit of white right there. Then the back side of her neck is right back in here, and it's pretty close to the edge, maybe a third of the way. This center line of the neck is just slightly off middle, so it's about an inch from the middle here. And then this line here starts just about right on the third, it kind of up under here, but it angles back down this way. And then there's a little bit of her shoulder kind of showing in the distance back there. Okay, then her hair is going to be really, she's got some beautiful curls. It's all in here, angles up, and it covers most of the neck here, like that. Also kind of at an angle a little bit. It's not straight across. Curves up this way. Then the ear is going to be kind of almost straight up from the neck, and about, if you angled from the cheek, from the eye out here, it's going to be the top of the ear right here. And then right directly above where the neck is, right there. So there's your kind of dot for the top of your ear. That'll help you kind of know where to put it. And then the bottom of it is kind of where that lip, the upper lip is the bottom of the ear, and the ear is angled in this way. On the head, we're not seeing this part of it at all because it's all going to be covered up with the hair in front. So, you know, in fact, if the ear bothers you, again, you could cover it with some hair and a bunch of little tendrils, and we'll add a little bit more of the tendrils that are coming down here and breaking that line up so you can't see a whole lot of the ear. So there's a little bit of the inner ear showing here, and then a dark space, kind of almost a teardrop shape right there. And then there's a earring right there. Okay. So again, this one's a little bit trickier on the drawing, and like I said, if you are not a drawer, I will have the traceable available. So you could, if you want to sign up for Patreon, it's $2 for all of my traceables, unlimited downloads, once a month. Get charged on the first of the month. So if you just wanted this one, you could pay that and cancel right away, and you won't get charged again. Or if you're doing, several of the tutorials, it's a good deal if you don't like to draw and you just want to paint along. Plus, it's a nice way to support our channel. We're going to be playing bingo with our patrons on Thursday, so it's going to be really fun. We're looking forward to that. And also, we started a giveaway. This video, actually, I forgot. So thank you to Fredrix. Did not mention that at the beginning of the video. Fredrix is our canvas sponsor. Princeton is our brush sponsor. Fredrix is awesome. They do giveaways all the time with us, and this month they wanted to do a giveaway for some. I'm putting the eyelashes on there. They're way too thick, but
she won't mind.
No, I know. No, she won't mind. You said no woman ever. Eyelashes are too thick. Said no woman ever. Yeah, back to Fredrix. They are giving away canvases. So we're doing a giveaway on Instagram. So two people will win off of our Instagram page, which the link to the Instagram is down in the description. It's Thankful Art on Instagram. So if you're looking for me there, just type in @ThankfulArt and it should pop up. And you'll see the giveaway instructions on there. You can tag one friend, so you and a friend will win, and there will be 2 winners. So there'll be 4 cases total given away for that giveaway on Instagram. 2 winners on Instagram, plus 2 of their friends, 1 each. So tag one friend, you win, they win, and hopefully it makes sense. On YouTube, there's just 1 winner, just you, and there is an email link that you have to follow to put your email in so that we can contact you if you're a winner. So we're going to pull our winners from that email list. So that link is also down in our description. And it's U.S. only, unfortunately. So they only ship to the U.S. For these giveaways. So there's one. But we're giving away a bunch of other stuff for our patrons. So if you're one of them, you're international. I'm
not eligible to win, so don't tag me as your friend.
Right. Yeah, I did. I know a lot of people are tagging me too. I noticed that. I don't need them. They already sent me some, so you don't have to tag me or Mark. We don't need them. They sent me some to test it. So I could see what they look like. And they're really cool. They're huge. They're 12-inch by 36-inch.
Yeah, we showed them on the last video Saturday.
They're really large, and they're float canvases. So the edges, instead of being squared off like this, they angle in, so it looks like they're kind of floating. They angle at a sharp angle on the sides, and they stick out about this far. So they stick out pretty far from the wall, but they're angled in. So this part is kind of more in the foreground.
Hey, somebody wants to know, are those long-handled brushes more expensive?
Yes. Yes, they are. They do tend to be. The Aspen series is kind of pricey. I did not realize that when I started to use it. I just was like, hey, do you have something that, like every now and then I just ask Princeton to send me something that they think I'm going to like. And they sent me these to try out, and I really do like them. They're definitely different from the softer brushes that I normally use.
So now, do they make the same brush in a long handle and a short handle, or only?
I think the Aspen might come in a shorter handle. I'm not sure. I don't know for sure.
Okay.
Okay, so I've just kind of mapped out the curls, the main shapes there. I left the flowers sort of open there. Where they're going to go kind of in this middle area, kind of somewhere in here. And they're sticking out a little bit on the sides. Let's go ahead and just kind of map them out a little bit. Just the main shapes here. And you could always change these if you don't like the colors or you want a different kind of flowers. You could do, like if you wanted, all of them to have the same kind of flowers or different flowers, you could do the same composition with just different flowers on different colored women. I mean, there's all kinds of ways you could adapt this to your own particular needs. Okay, so there's our basic. Let's go ahead and start here. So I hope that I made that sense of that giveaway. So basically down in the description of this video, you can sign up. There's a little link that you follow and you sign up on email. All right.
Yep, it says enter to win Fredrix giveaway or
Right.
Canvas.
Yeah.
And then there's a link.
Yes, and so it'll only be open up for 1 week. Oh, I didn't put that in the description there.
Okay.
I should have done that. But next week we will.
So up until the 19th?
Right, and then after that link will be dead.
Okay,
so we'll
after-
remove the link completely. So if you're looking at this a week from now and you're like, where's the link? It's not going to be there. So sorry.
Or 2072.
You missed it. Right, exactly.
Hi, how you doing?
Hope things are better than
Hope
it is here.
things are going good. Hopefully everybody's returned to work by now.
Yeah. Okay, I'm not going to start that because I got somebody that was like, I don't know. I'm not even going to.
I almost had.
I'm not even going to give them a platform, but there's some really whacked out theories going around right now about COVID.
So back to the painting.
Back to the painting.
Sorry, I got you started, man. I mean,
Thank
you snapped there. Just went down that road.
Sorry. All right, so I'm going to do mostly green on this background. You can see that each one of these had a different kind of tone, but they're all in that same kind of aqua blue family. If I can get this one. This one's a little bit deeper in places, so you can kind of get the idea. So I think I'm going to go a little bit more green with this one. So these ones are all kind of that turquoise color. I'm going to go a little bit more green. Yeah, that's good. I think the green will be pretty. Green's always good with a redhead. It's a good complementary color to red. It's opposite on the color wheel. But we're not using a bright, like shamrock green. We're just using kind of a soft green. Be really pretty. And her hair is not like true red. It's more orange than red kind of tone. I've always wondered why they call them redheads when their hair is really more close to orange. It kind of bugs me. It's just a pet peeve.
Yeah.
Added a little bit of the phthalo blue and then a big chunk of the unbleached titanium. So, and then I actually picked up a little bit of this burnt sienna yellow oxide mixture too that was in the back. All that does is just kind of tone it down so that it's not such a bright color. it'll make it look a little bit more natural.
Okay, somebody asked if they don't have turquoise, what can they do?
They don't have phthalo. I am not using turquoise. I'm using phthalo green and phthalo blue here, and making a turquoise. So
see,
I'm making a turquoise.
Problem
So
solved.
use a green blue. So like cerulean blue. You could even just use yellow with blue, and you could get a turquoise from that if you use the right blue. You can't do it with ultramarine blue. It's too purple to get a good turquoise. But you can use, if you've got another blue that's got a lot of green in it, it'll.
Yeah, if I had been paying attention at the start of the show, I would have known that you weren't using turquoise. But we know that doesn't happen.
I'm gonna. Yeah, I know. I don't ever expect that anymore. I would be shocked if you had been paying attention when I listed the colors.
Yeah. I like that one video. You're like, I just got finished explaining that.
Literally. You're like, stop talking so I can ask the question that you were just answering. All right, getting some white here, and I'm just going to go back in now. This paint is still nice and juicy. I'm putting it on fairly thick, so I am just going to kind of dab in some other colors, using a little bit of that Cobalt Teal there. It's already got that turquoise tone, so it's going to complement this really well. And I'm not worried about going over my lines. Those are just kind of our guidelines. We'll be a little bit more careful around the face because those will be more important to kind of keep those lines clean. But these main lines that we put in first are not gonna stay that dark. So just go right up over it just a little bit. There we go. And we're done. No.
I always like that.
I do like this.
I do.
Yeah.
When you do it, it just reminds me of like those old sketches that you would see. So
Yeah.
I mean, it's really cool.
I think one of these days we'll have to do one that's like this that we just leave. Maybe do a more interesting background and then do a line drawing over the top or something. All right, so I'm going to get a little bit more blue here. I'm just going to add some blue tones. I need it to be a much different value though, so it's blending in with the background color quite a bit. Maybe add a little bit darker green here.
A couple of people have asked. They asked last one and I forgot to ask, so I saw here. With the larger canvases, are you planning to do any tutorials with those?
It makes it, I can't fit them under the camera unless we did it, change our camera setup, which it would be a real pain to do that. I can't. Or get a new camera that I can set up in a different area so that I can do the canvas setup on an easel or something like that. But there's just no way for me to do it on our current setup. They're too big. Like I have a hard enough time with the 16-inch wide canvases. I think the widest I've done is a 20-inch, and that one is 36 inches. So it'd be covering up all of our, like we had it, it was literally like, 3 times this width. So you can see how wide this is. And I've got room here, but pretty much 6 inches away from where I'm painting here is the start of my palette here. So I've got 12 inches on that side that I could play with, but not on that side. That side I have maybe 3, 4 at the most. So. And
then our bingo extravaganza.
Yes.
We're starting that at 4 p.m. Central.
Yes.
So that's 2 hours earlier than we start our Tuesday shows.
Right.
So if you're watching now, subtract 2.5 hours from now, and that's the time.
Central Time, U.S.
Right. Well, wherever they are.
Right. Right.
So if it's 12:30 there, then it would be
exactly.
sometime like around 10:30 10 or 10 o'clock or something.
Yeah, we
like that.
tried to find a time that was good for all time zones, and I already do my Thursday videos with my patrons on Thursdays. So I do them at 3 normally. So Mark didn't want to take a full day off, so we just pushed it back an hour so that he could take a kind of a half day or partial day off. Get off a couple hours early.
I'll start earlier.
Right. What?
I'll start my other job earlier,
right,
so I can finish
right.
earlier.
So,
in case anybody from work is watching.
that's what your story is.
Yeah, I'm usually, connected by 6:15, 6:30 in the
You're
morning.
usually in early and the last one to leave, so I think they can lose you a couple hours early today.
What?
Tomorrow, or whenever it is, not
I don't know if they'll survive without me.
Thursday. All right, just doing the sides while I've got this color because I'm never going to be able to match it again if I let it dry out and try to do it later. So just painting that in really quickly. And okay, there we go. I'm just going to go ahead and kind of do like that. Okay.
Yes, the shoulders are out of proportion. Said the shoulders are out of proportion.
Well, I'll fix it later, but this is kind of...
This is in reference to a TV show.
Okay. I get what you're saying now. I'm not going to repeat that at all. I know part of that. Just going to move on like I did not hear that. Okay. So for her skin tone, I'm going to start there because that's kind of behind all this hair and everything. So I'm going to start with this Unbleached Titanium, and honestly, this is a really good skin tone just on its own. We could start as that, kind of as our base. And go ahead and put that down. And then we're going to obviously have to add quite a bit of shadow and things to it. But this will be kind of our base color. There is a little bit of this showing up underneath the bangs there, so I'm just going to continue that forehead on up. And I'm loading my brush up fairly thick with paint here.
That could be another group name, Thick with Paint.
Thick with paint.
Okay, so the allergy medicine I am on may be having some strange side effects. But at least I can breathe.
Yeah. Okay, so we're going to make some skin tone. I'm going to make a darker kind of tone first. It's going to be yellow oxide as our base. And then a little bit of burnt or red. And just depending on how much red you add will be the, how orange the base tone is. And then you use the blue to neutralize it so that it's not pink or orange. It takes it down to kind of a more natural looking color. And then we can mix in a little bit of this unbleached titanium to see the color that we've got. That's a really nice kind of tan. And if we want a more rosy tone to her, which, her cheeks have a little bit more of a rosy color, I'm going to just add just a little tiny bits. And you don't need a lot of the color to really make a pretty drastic change. So when you're making these changes, just dab just a little bit so that you don't end up with this huge puddle of, paint that you can't use.
Somebody wanted to know real quick, were you planning to paint the bottom of the canvas also?
No, not right now. I have all of them unpainted. I need to think I'm just going to go through and do them all at once so they all are unpainted. I don't know. I should have just done the side color all the way around. It probably would have made it easier.
Woulda, shoulda, coulda.
Yeah, I know. Okay, so mixing up some lighter colors, just going to have in a couple different lighter tones here to work with. And then I'm going to get some burnt umber and mix it up here to our base tone. This was kind of our starting tone for our shadow color, and you can add a little bit more blue to that. Okay, so that'll be our good like dark tone that's right up under here. So we're this area here, and I'm just going to use this brush this thick with paint, and I'm going to pull down here, and that color that I just put down is still a little bit wet, so it's kind of blending with it. And I'm going to add a little bit. If it's dry all the way, you can just add a little bit more of that lighter mid-tone color. And I'm going to do that. You can see that I had that green underneath there, and I did that so that it would kind of blend out, because there's like a little bit of that green that sort of tones that to sort of make it look like it's disappearing. Then there is kind of a darker tone over here where that probably made it a little bit too wide, where the shoulder strap comes over, and then there's a little bit of white. Just gonna get a little white on my tip of my brush and do just a little bit of white right there as it goes off the edge of the canvas. And honestly, this is not super important, so I wouldn't waste a whole lot of time on it. It's not going to be the deal breaker. There we go. Just trying to get that to stick there. Okay. And then the front here has got some, I'm going to get some white. Part of her dress. Again, if it looks funky to you, you can leave it out. I've got mixed feelings about it, so I'm undecided. As long as you make it different from the neck, I think it's fine. It's just you need to make it so it's obvious it's not part of the neck. All right, I'm going to get a little bit more of this reddish tone here.
Do you want to talk about your feelings?
Yes, Dr. Mark.
Okay.
I don't know how I'm feeling about it. Okay, so we did a little bit more reddish tone right here. I'm seeing a little bit of pink right there. And then get some more of that white and do... And really I need to take a... This is actually probably good because it's a little bit wet. I'm just going to clean off my brush. It's got a lot of other colors in there, and I just need it to be able to control it a little bit better. I am going to spray my paint too, because it's kind of dry in here today. So I want to have the paint kind of juicy. Oh, stop.
I think that was record.
Was it? I don't think so. I think it's done better.
It's done better. Okay.
Okay, so kind of like that. And blend that out. The brown dries a little bit darker, so you may end up having to tone that down. That's about where I want the neck color to be. I feel like this is still not quite red enough, though. She's got a lot of red in her. Redheads do, you know, they're kind of flush easily, so they've got a lot more pink in there. skin color. And I am still looking, I promise, for other ethnicity to get some diversity on these. I know they're all Caucasian right now, but I am having really trouble. I did buy one that I should be able to use next month. But my problem is I find them. Please don't email me photos of what you find on Pinterest and stuff, because I found those all too, and I can't use them unless I have the permission from the photographer. So unless it's your photo, I can't use it. It's just, I appreciate, I've been getting, people sending me pictures of that are awesome. And it's like, yeah, I would paint that. I can't paint that. Sorry.
I have permission to.
I don't own that photo, so I can't. And if you don't own the photo, I can't use it. So I appreciate the thought, but I promise I've looked and I've contacted multiple photographers that have great photos, but I just can't get them to reply. I literally have done 4 and none of them have replied. So nobody's interested in helping me out here. I get it. Okay, so just kind of going back over there, kind of adding that. I added that blush right here on her cheek. It's really pretty. And then I'm going to add a little bit right here on the lip, just a little bit. Just a touch. It's very subtle. If you look at it and it's like, wow, her cheeks are super red, then you've added too much red, so it should be very subtle, and just going to blend that out a little bit, and I'm working it. So there we go. That's all I'm going to do. I've got a little shadow right there on the neck where the neck comes up to joins with the ear, and then there's some shadows. I'm going to take some of this red and the brown together. There's some shadow on the ear here that's not that dark. I just wiped that off my brush. Get the light tone. I'm just adding some shadow on the ear there. Come on. This area in front here just kind of blends out, so I'm just going to kind of blend that out. And you can still see that drawing through that we did before, so that's good. We've got a little bit of that in there still, and I'm going to go in with dark. Put that in dark, and there's a little dark right there. And I'm using a bigger brush because it'll keep me from getting too fussy with it. And we don't want it to be super detailed, right? Because this is that Impressionist look. So using the bigger brush will kind of help us keep our brush strokes a little bit thicker and the way we want. Okay, and then there's a shadow along the back side of the ear there. So I'm just going to do that. Just a little bit right there. And then we're going to be adding all kinds of hairs in front of all that. So that's pretty much all I'm going to do for the ear. I'm not going really detailed. I may go a little bit darker on this neck here. Just a little bit of a line there. And a little bit maybe back here. Okay, so let's start on our hair now. And I'll do the eyelashes too, but I'm going to do those later. So I'm going to start with the dark brown, and I'm going to add a little bit of purple. Burnt umber and Dioxazine Purple. Dioxazine Purple is going to be instead of black. So it's going to be making a chromatic black here. That just means you're making black with colors instead of with actual black. And I'm going to add some blue to it. Ultramarine blue, since I got it over here. It's going to ultramarine blue and brown burnt umber are one of my favorite blacks. So look how dark that is. You're never going to know it's not black and unless you really look at it. And then, you know, if we added a white to this, we'd see the undertone, you know, and it would be like a purple color. See that? Really pretty. Reminds me of like violet oxide or something like that. Okay, so I'm gonna look at my photo and I'm just seeing where I'm seeing my darkest shadows, and that's where I'm gonna put this color. And I'm going in the direction that I'm seeing the hair grow, in the direction of the streaks in the hair. And I've got my brush fairly loaded with paint, pretty thick. So I'll get good dark. I want to go around all these flowers. All these flowers are going to have nice dark area right around them. So all the hair is going to have that shadowy color around where those flowers are. So make sure I go all the way around that. Most of this is going to get covered up, but we're going to leave just a little bit of this dark showing. Go right over the top of the ear just a little bit right there. Around the back side of it. This area right there is nice and dark. There's some curls all in here. I'm just going to go ahead and kind of cover a lot of that up with it. Nice thing about acrylics is that they're quite opaque. You can make them opaque so you can layer with your lighter colors over the top. That's one of the things that it's going to take me some getting used to with working with watercolors. It's pretty much the exact opposite of that. You work from light to dark most of the time. So, okay, using the burnt umber or burnt sienna mixed in with this color now. Just this is the next color down. Just kind of another mid-tone color. This will be kind of our base for the rest of the hair. This will give us that reddish tint that we're looking for. You can already see it's kind of working, right? If you look at your reference photo, you can already see that we're getting our values pretty close, and the colors are pretty close too. So I'm happy with how it's going so far. So good. And these light areas that we've left will leave us a little bit of a lighter tone too. If you're getting a lot of this white lines and stuff, what you can do is you can add a little bit of water to your paint, and it'll soak into those spots on your canvas that don't want to absorb the paint. It's pretty common. Okay, so now that I've got my green down, I'm going to go over the top with my brush strokes and leave these kind of wispy things happening outside the edges a little bit. And I've got my paint loaded fairly thick. I'm using that course number 6 Filbert. And just using that edge of it to create some little curly cues and things that are happening outside the border. I'm going to leave this one there that's white. Really covered up all my flowers just about. It's alright. Get a little bit more of that dark color. Really like the purple added in there. It really adds a lot of richness to that dark area. That purpley blue. just adding the burnt sienna in this area here. Yeah, I'm going to use a little bit of the burnt umber right in here. The bangs are a little bit darker on the outer edges. And then as they come down in front of the face, they get a little bit lighter. And this goes all the way down almost to the eye there. And the highlight colors here are going to be a little bit lighter, so I'm not going to fill it all the way in with this color.
Okay, we got a question.
The ear here. Yeah.
Somebody wanted to know, what is your best advice for someone just starting out? Now, let me say they didn't specify what, so I don't know if it's race car driving or cooking.
I'm pretty sure they mean
So you're going to have to
painting.
guess and give your best advice for that.
Pretty sure that they mean acrylic painting. Okay, so best advice would be to start out slow. So don't find beginner tutorials to work with. Get decent brushes, and you can use paper instead of like expensive canvases when you first start out. So that's a more economical way. Use student quality paints. So get like a Liquitex Basics is really good. That's what I recommend for beginners to start with, because they come in like a 48 count or 24 count sets of colors, and you can do just about anything you need to with those sets. And then you can add the more expensive paints once you get some experience, but then that way you're not breaking the bank with your materials. And I would but I think if you're going to invest in anything, I would invest in good brushes. Somebody was saying to get cheap brushes, and I'm like, nope. I was watching a video the other night. Mark was laughing at me because they were saying to buy cheap brushes if you're a beginner, and I was like, nope, don't do that. Been there, done
Yes,
that.
she literally said out loud, nope, don't do that. I don't think they heard you, but...
Okay, well, I was trying to help. Yeah, no, that's the most common thing that I see people do. And, they buy these really cheap big brush sets that are, inexpensive on Amazon, and they're inexpensive for a reason. And you'll have a whole lot more trouble doing any kind of techniques with them than I talked last week about, how I did a, I'm going back in there and making that dark again right there. I did a little lesson in one of my Facebook groups a couple of years ago where did the same exact brush stroke using 3 different quality brushes. The cheap brush, student quality, and the professional quality brushes. And the professional quality brushes, by far, hands down, make the brush stroke go on just super smooth, because the cheaper brushes basically do not have any kind of snap to them. That's kind of a weird word, but they don't have the flexibility that a good brush will have, and so it'll just be lazy. You'll want it to do something, and it'll just flop around on you instead of actually doing what you're wanting it to do. And you won't be able to do the techniques that I'm doing with your brush. You'll be trying to do the same thing that I'm doing in my videos, and your brush will not do it. It's not that you're not doing it right, it's that your brush is not capable of doing it right. So that is one of the things that I would say, can cause a lot of grief to beginner painters, is the kind of brushes that you're using. And just let yourself be a beginner. Like, I'm going into the, gouache, learning a new thing here, and realizing that, of course, I have experience in painting, so I've got a head start. But I realized that I'm going to probably create a few paintings that are not going to be all that great. And so just kind of give yourself permission to excuse my French, permission to suck. That's one of the things I read once, and I just thought that was great because it's true. You're not, it'd be like, starting playing the piano or starting doing skiing or something. I was really, really bad at skiing. I still am. I gave up. But I'm just saying.
No comment.
Mom, Mark left me on the ski slopes of the beginner. The bunny slope took me 2.5 hours to get down the bunny slope. Mm-hmm. And he was like about halfway down. He's like, I'm just going to go. And he abandoned me.
Yeah. But we won't abandon you on your art journey.
No. All right. Mixing the burnt orange with the yellow oxide here. So I'm just saying permission to suck. That sounds rude. I honestly feel like that all effort is good effort. I mean, you may not be 100% happy with your painting, but you've hopefully learned a little bit, as you progress in your art journey. So I would say enjoy the process as much as you can. Don't have a whole lot of preconceived notions of what your painting needs to look like when you first start painting, because it will not look like mine. It won't matter how long you paint. You probably won't ever look exactly like mine, just because I'm going to be holding my brush different. It's just like your handwriting is probably different than mine. The way you paint will be different than mine the longer that you work at it and develop your own style and that kind of thing. My goal here with these videos is just to kind of help you along in the process, show you some of the things that can help you. But I'm certainly not like, this is the only way to paint and I know everything about it and you better do it the exact way that I do it or it's going to be wrong. Like, that's not at all. The whole goal is just to kind of help you develop your own style and kind of figure it out as you go along. I'm trying to figure out what brush, speaking of figuring things out.
So you just mixed up some color. Can you explain what you did?
Yes, I mixed up the burnt orange with the yellow oxide here. So this is a Quinacridone burnt orange. You could use burnt sienna if you don't have it, and a little bit of magenta. And then a little bit of the yellow oxide. And then over here, I mixed up some more of the yellow oxide with some of the, and I still had that burnt orange on my brush, but I added more of the yellow oxide here and some of the unbleached titanium. Okay, and I'm just trying to make some, this will be fairly close to our skin tone color, honestly. It looks, you can see, you could probably use some of that skin tone color up in the hair. I'm going to use white with the yellow oxide also, and maybe even just a little bit of the cadmium yellow just to really brighten it up, because some of those highlights are fairly yellow. Okay, I think that's good. You may add a little bit of the orangey tone to it. There we go. All right, so I've got it like 3 tones here, and this tone here is probably going to be too dark to show up much, but I'm going to mix it with this yellow here. And now I'm going to go through here and define some of these curls. So I'm going to right in here. So yeah, I can talk about learning to paint all day. Sorry, I get to going. I'm very protective of beginner painters because I feel like there's a lot of people that have opinions about what you should be doing, and not all of them are great advice, and some of them can really trip you up. So I just feel like you do what makes you happy and give yourself permission to fail at it a few times while you're learning, Don't be too hard on yourself. I think we're sometimes our own worst critic. Okay, see what I'm doing there?
And we have heard some horror stories of, people's family members making some mean comments, and,
Right.
I don't have any place for that, and it's whatever. So it's difficult to go in, but it's a journey, no matter what you're doing. Like Angela said, learning to paint, at one time you didn't know how to walk or talk or write or do a lot of things. And then, over time of just keeping at it, you learn to do it and you got better at it. And,
Right.
and we're doing this for fun,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and so it should be relaxing and enjoyable. All
Yeah.
right, back
Yeah.
to the regularly scheduled
Yes.
program.
Yes. So you should. I would limit I would limit the people that you allow to voice opinions about your work while you're first learning. You know, to people who are going to encourage you. That's one of the things in my Facebook group why we created it, was so that I could see what people were painting from my tutorials and also give you a big thumbs up and cheer you on, because I know not everybody gets that from the people that they're, you know, surrounding themselves with. So I want you to, I know how difficult it is learning something new, and it's very brave to go on that journey, and I applaud you.
So, back on the brush.
Yes.
You
Make some orange here. I feel like it's not orange enough. I'm using some of the magenta and the yellow here. Yes, back onto the brush.
you had mentioned about a snap, and so I know I've
Yeah.
watched you in stores
Yes.
doing things to brushes.
Yes.
So how do you judge a good brush?
Well, you really have to paint with it sometimes. So that's why I have my recommended list, and people sometimes are like, "What do you think of this brush?" And I'm like, "I don't know." Like, if I've not actually painted with it myself, I can't really tell you how it's gonna perform. But I mean, you can tell a lot by. It should tell you what the basic. I'm gonna switch to this brush. I don't feel like I'm liking this with this one. My Filbert again. Oh yeah, I was gonna do this part with the Eggbert. So it's basically the same, but it's gonna hold more paint. It's basically the same as the Filbert, but it'll hold a lot more paint. So I can do longer lines with it. Yeah, there we go. I am probably doing way too much of the...
And down below this video,
colors.
there's a link to the brush guys. And Angela has a list of all the brushes that she recommends. There's a beginner
Right.
set. Last time I checked, they were out of stock of that. But you can see the list of all the brushes that are in that beginner set.
Right.
And, you don't have to buy them all at one time. You get what you can.
Yeah, I would say an angle brush is going to be one of the better brushes. So if you're looking to, like, a first brush to buy, I would buy an angle brush of some sort. And depends on the size canvases you're using, would depend on the size of the angle brush. So if you're using a large canvas, larger than what I'm using, then I would suggest getting bigger brushes, because these ones won't be big enough for a really large canvas. Okay. So I'm leaving some of that dark color there. What we can do is go back over some of those areas of transition with our dark color. And I was doing that over here a little bit while I was talking, layering the lighter colors and then going back over with the darker colors to kind of set them in a little bit. I almost feel like I think I'm going to add it. Whoa, I have this red. Never mind. I'm going to use the cadmium red here with my yellow. Forgot about it. If you have, like, you could probably use like a cadmium red light or something like that. I'm thinking might be a good color. That's good. It's got a little orange tone. Just feel like it needed a little something more. Okay, so right above the ear here, there's like a swipe that kind of comes around and goes below it, and then right here it kind of cuts it off. There's some curls right here. Probably not explaining this as well as some of the other videos, so you might want to, like, watch one of my other videos in this series first. And this one, I'm assuming that you're kind of going from a little bit of experience with the ones from before. Not being as good about explaining exactly what I'm doing here. Probably. And I'm leaving this area dark right here because this is where our flowers are going to be. So just kind of letting. And this area back here is pretty dark, so I'm just going to kind of leave those mostly dark and just add a little bit of highlight on some of these. And then there's an area right in here that's really bright. Into curls from here down. I'm going to use all these different colors. Right there, and I'm really just trying to kind of hit the bright spots. You can see in our reference photo sort of where you're seeing those really bright spots. I'm going to take my highlight color now and go. I'm not going all the way to the edges, so I left a little bit of the dark, and then now I'm going to do my highlights over the top even smaller and closer in, tighter, leaving that the darker areas a little bit. See that? And that gives the illusion that it's kind of getting that highlight in the middle there. It pushes the sides back.
And my eyes can still breathe.
Hush.
You leave them plenty of room for them, so thank you.
Shut up.
I can't breathe.
Okay, so just adding some of those highlight colors, and my main suggestion would just be to kind of watch where you're starting and stopping these lines so that they have kind of a wisped edge on both sides. And if you get, one side of it a little bit thick or something like that, you can always go back over that with your darker color. So say, in here I want, just as long as you have a darker place for it to start, you can kind of hide your edges a little bit and go back over some of these. So I'm going to get a little bit of the burnt sienna, burnt umber, and now I'm going to go in here with the burnt sienna, burnt umber. Kind of add some dark shadows, kind of pull from the shadows in over the top of the edges of some of these so that they look curled. See that? And all these different directions are what gives it that kind of curled effect. Get that dark color and start underneath and pull it up. And I'm going to go down on her neck quite a bit with this color up underneath. And leaving these kind of wispy trails of color and using some of the lighter color too. Getting some of that yellow. Got a little bit too much paint there. So while it's wet, I can kind of pull some of it off. See? Okay, and then right around the cheek here. Gonna do nice long ones. This is where I'm saying you can kind of help hide if you've got an ear that you don't really like or whatever. You can do as many wispies as you want over the top of that. Okay, I'm liking this. The color's not 100% what I was hoping for, but I'm not really sure. I think really almost need the cadmium red light to get it to the vibrancy that I'm seeing here. Let's try a little bit of burnt orange and red, cadmium red. Yeah, it's not going to hurt anything to have a little bit of that red. I wouldn't use too much of it. You don't want it to be like, wow, that is really unusual. But I think just a touch of it. And we used weird colors in our other ones too. We used pink and things in the hair, so I might use a little bit of the magenta with some of the unbleached titanium and do just a few streaks with that. I haven't cleaned out my brush, so I still have some of those yellows and other colors in here too.
Now, we're not bullying those other paints by calling them weird, so just let you know.
That's true.
They're okay paints.
Let's be politically correct about this.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I'm going to call that good on that, and let's paint our flowers. So let's get the number 4 bright here, and I'm going to use it to do my leaves. And my leaves are really close to the color that we did our background, so I'm going to add the unbleached titanium to it. And if they don't show up against that background, then what we'll do is we'll add a little bit of burnt umber to the color. We'll get a darker color here because we'll want some of them a little bit shadowed. So I mix my light color, and then I also mix a darker version here. So it's got a little bit of blue and the burnt umber in it, and I'm going to use it. There we go. Yeah, that's going to work. So these leaves out here are kind of spiky, and they come up out and kind of up and around there. And then I'm just literally just dashing it back and forth using the shape of the brush to create some brush strokes. And I'm going to go ahead and load up both the light and the dark on my brush here. And that will allow me to kind of do some brush strokes that have multiple colors in them. And don't do this until you're happy with your hair. So if you still want to mess with your hair some more, don't do this yet. But once you kind of think you're done, you can start, and then you can make these leaf shapes just by tapping. You can tap and kind of tap it at an angle and kind of pull it at an angle, and it'll do like a little leaf shape for you. Okay. Go somewhere in there like that. I feel like the front of her face needs to be just a little bit darker. I don't know if I have any of my skin tone left. Let me get some of that red. Just going to kind of outline the front of the face just a little bit. Almost wish I'd left a little bit of that outline, showing. Just kind of outlining it a little bit. I'm just going over it with a little bit of the lighter color, but you can see kind of almost a halo around the face there, so I feel like it needed a little bit of an outline, just slightly. Okay. Before I forget, I'm going to do the eyelashes, so I'm going to get my purple, burnt umber, and ultramarine blue. Okay, and I've got my little brush here. I'm just going to go from here and I'm going to pull out and wisp out some eyelashes. They're probably going to be way too long, but that's okay. I want it to be exaggerated, so you can do yours however long you want, but I would only do, you know, just a few. I wouldn't do too many. They are angling that way.
Since she doesn't have a nose, you might as well give her long eyelashes.
Exactly.
It's a tragic story, don't ask. We don't like to talk about it.
Shut. It's the angle. You can't see it. It's there. Know about that? Okay. I'm going to get the round brush here and my yellow, which is super thick. It's sitting here the whole time, being neglected. Okay, some white. And let's see.
So, about how close are we to tacos here?
Pretty close. You want to go start them?
No,
Okay.
I'll write this out.
Okay.
But I just want to make sure, you know, it doesn't go too long.
No, it's not going too long. What time? We're only an hour and 15 minutes in. We're good.
Yeah. So?
We got another maybe 15, 20 minutes. Okay, so I'm going to do my yellow, and I'm loading it. I added white. That will make my yellow more opaque. Because yellow does not want to sometimes cover. So you may just need to put a couple layers of yellow down to get it to cover. And for the petals, I'm going to pull in. Again, my green's a little bit wet there, so it's picking up the color a little bit. I'm using the square brush like that. Okay, then I'm going to use the white in the center and just leave it. This one is kind of a round ball shape, so I'm just going to kind of dab. This is another little round ball shape. I'm going to dab with the corner of my brush. And again, you can use whatever flowers you like if you've got I would think about how I would use colors maybe that we've already used. So some of the rose colors or something like that. Just think about how it might, the color might look against the hair color. So, all right, gonna make a gray here using that same burnt umber and ultramarine blue color that we had. And just grabbing the white and gonna make my little rosebuds here. I'm kind of making them a little bit bigger than what I'm seeing in the picture. here. Actually, that one's closer there. And then up here, there's just like little dabs of, I'm just going to use the corner of my brush and just dab in some little baby's breath type things. And you could do a color for that if you want it to be a color. Totally up to you. Okay. I'm going to grab some of that green too. Some of the brighter green now that this is dry. And I know where my flowers are going. Make sure that I've got some good greenery around. I didn't put a shadow under her chin. I probably should have done a little bit of a shadow there. I'm going to get a little bit of this darker color and put it right there. Careful you don't erase the hair when you do it though. Okay. There we go.
Okay, got a question. The person would like to know, would you recommend to add a layer of titanium white under the yellows to make them more opaque?
I get that question a lot. I just tend to like to add the white directly to my yellow because I'm lazy and I don't want to have to wait for it to dry and do it. Plus, you tend to be able to see the white underneath. Like you can kind of see the white around the outside. So if you did that, like it's hard to get the yellow on top of the white to cover it just perfectly, and so you tend to see like this white halo around your yellow objects, which I just don't prefer. So I just much prefer like using white in my yellow to make it opaque, and then you can always go back over your yellow again with your brighter colors to brighten them up. So do a second layer on them to make them pop, as they say.
I think they were just hoping that we would say tidy whitey.
I get that question every time I use white. There's a lot of artists that do that though, so that's probably why they're asking.
So everybody else is wrong is what we're saying?
Nope, I just do it different. You can do it however you want.
I think they're all wrong.
There's no right or wrong way. But the white, what happens is when you do the white underneath, the yellow on top the white underneath makes that yellow more vibrant because the white is bouncing that light back off that yellow. If you got the dark underneath and then put the yellow on top, there's no light underneath that yellow to bounce off of, so it's going to be duller. So the white just helps with that.
Yeah, my wife's the smartest. She knows.
Shut it.
And I know you're right because of the way you explain it with your hands, too. Others don't do that, so they can't be right.
Be quiet. All right, so do my rose here. And these are actually kind of ranunculus, it looks like. Just one of my really fun flower. It's got lots of little petals, all tightly packed, so I'm going to get a little bit of the yellow here. I'm seeing some yellow in the center of them. And then mostly white here. I've got maybe a little bit of that gray influencing this color, but I'm going to
Oh, I got gray influencing my color for sure.
That's good, hon. That was a good one. I do too, especially now that you can't go to the salon. I was already kind of letting my gray grow out. Now I don't have a choice, so. How everybody
I mean, I could color it for you if you want me to.
It's okay. I'm pretty good. The only color I think I have is blue from when I had that blue phase where I did a little streak of blue in my hair. And oh my gosh, it tinted everything, including our shower. Yeah, I don't think I want to do that in our new shower. Okay, so a couple brush strokes outside the edge there. And I'm really doing kind of a comma stroke. So if you've never seen a comma stroke, it's gosh, baby elephant. It's gonna look like let's not do it on him. So let's do it right here. You're gonna set your brush down and pull and lift. Need more water. That paint was dry. Set your brush down and pull and lift. Again, too dry. Come on. Brush down, lift and pull. So the I'm putting pressure, and with these petals, I'm kind of doing more of a modified comma stroke. So I'm doing kind of thin, thick, thin. So I'm very light pressure, pressing down harder, lifting. And I'm not really overthinking it too much. So what I'm doing is just kind of using the tip of the brush. And you want to hold it really upright over your drawing or your painting to get this to work. If you're holding it at a lazy angle, you're not going to be able to get any kind of movement in your brush. It's not going to be able to do this side of it. It's going to do like that. So in order to get those thin lines, you're going to have to hold it almost perpendicular to the page to be able to get them to go in different directions like that. Okay, and that's basically all I'm doing with the white is that. To do these flowers here. Got that dark gray underneath, so I'm not having to add a lot of shadows. I'm just letting the brush strokes over the top kind of create some highlights over this. And if I have this kind of grayish color in here, it's gonna help for these initial brush strokes. And then what I'll do is add the brighter white colors with no, and it's easier if you use like fresh paint, or if you have a fluid paint, that's probably even better. I should pull out my fluid acrylics, but this will work. I just need to get enough on my brush, and really I should be waiting for these under layers to dry, but I'm not. I'm being impatient here, but and just going over the top of the brush. So when you're doing these the end highlights, you're not wanting to add new brush strokes necessarily, unless you've got some that are kind of outside the norm that you're wanting to add, maybe, like those. But I don't know why I just did that one right there. I'll probably take that one off. I'm going to do some white here. Highlights on our little baby's breath. There's some succulents or something in there too, but I'm not going to worry about those. But so I'm just going to add over the top of kind of some of the brush strokes that I've already got in there to add some brighter highlights to some of them. And I'm pretty much going to call that good. I'm not going to overdo it too much. These, especially this technique, it kind of does better just to kind of do your brush stroke and let it live and kind of own it, Don't be too fussy with it. Get fussy with it. I'm going to add a little bit of a shadow color to our yellow balls there.
Ornaments.
These ones are not ornaments.
Sorry, just a natural reaction.
I know. Right. This yellow layer is dry-ish. My paint is super sticky, so I probably should have gotten fresh paint, but I just want to use what's here. Got green in there. Blasted green. Where did you come from? Like if your paint's clumpy like that, you need to work that out. You don't want to go on there with clumpy paint. So I'm trying to push that moisture into that clump. Break it up a little bit. Okay. I'm just going to wipe that off.
And the Spoonflower is selling
What?
Sweet
What?
butterfly fabric.
Yeah. I think everybody's making masks.
Yeah.
That butterfly fabric's been selling quite a bit.
Nice.
They're selling mask kits on Spoonflower. So if you're wanting to I just put out some cadmium yellow just for another cadmium or yellow, lemon yellow, I should say, just for another brighter yellow. You can just use a cadmium yellow medium if you don't have this. I just decided to pop that in there. Okay, I'm gonna call good. I feel like I need a few more highlights with my green. Get that round brush. Get my green, my white. Come on. Maybe a little bit of the cobalt teal, so it's a little more turquoisey. And having that cobalt teal in there will kind of tie in the background color too. So I'm going to add some leaves with this color. Just pressing my brush down and kind of flicking it out. I don't like that. Take that off there. You're going to go bye-bye. Careful if you do that though, because my paint underneath was not dry all the way, so it's not going to be cured fully until it sets for about 24 hours or so.
And are those white roses?
They were ranunculus, I think.
Ridiculous? Mm-hmm. That could be ridiculous.
Her.
But somebody did ask if they were roses.
I think they're ranunculus. Which have more, they look like roses basically, but they have tighter centers. They're more layered, kind of closer layers. And I'm going to get some of this darker color here, maybe a little bit of the blue, Phthalo blue, and it turquoisey, and then there's some flowers over the top of, or some leaves over the top of the flowers. So I'm going to add just a few little leaves with just a little bit of that color. Not everywhere, but just like right in there. There was some little leaves over the top of that. And I want to add back in some of my shadow in here. I noticed that this got really kind of too middle toned, too middle of the road. To add a little bit of my darker, and to avoid having to do this, again, what I'm going to do, or to paint over all my highlight areas, I'm going to add a little bit of glaze to this shadow color this purple, blue, brown. And the glaze will just help it go on a little bit more transparently. Some of my highlight right there. I didn't want to do that. So I want to just get it in where my darkest areas are and then kind of just beef up some of these shadows in here. They kind of got lost when I did my upper layers. You don't have to do everywhere, just wherever you see that it needs a little bit more of a shadow. How are we doing on time, hon?
The stomach hasn't started grumbling too bad, so we're doing okay. Yeah.
Okay. I think you asked me about, well, it was 18 after, so it's been 20 minutes. So I think that was about right, because I said, right, 15, 20 minutes. I think we're about done.
So that means another 15 minutes.
No, I'm not done. I'm done.
Who's being fooled by this? Anybody? Bueller? I didn't think so.
Okay, using the highlight color, that bright yellow. Now that I've done my shadows again. And it's not everywhere that you're seeing that really bright highlight. There's really only a couple places, like right in here, right there. I'm going to use the darker. Everything got green in it somehow. It's all green everywhere. I know. Just making sure that I've got good movement in my hair. I'm just going to go in over those highlights because it seemed a little stark. Alright, and then I want to do just a few more like littler highlighted hairs. When I didn't do her earring, get some white here. There's a little bit of a, just do it back there. It's a little farther forward, but I put it in front of the hair in front of it. So, all right, I think that's pretty close. Just got water dripped on there. That's no good. Do you see anything I missed? I remembered the eyelashes. I'm surprised. I was pretty sure I was going to forget that. Get the dark burnt umber here. Maybe a little bit of the purple, but mostly just burnt umber. Some of these. And this is honestly, at this point, it's just up to you. Whatever your painting is looking like, you can you may or may not need to do anything else to it. So I don't think I needed to do that. Okay. Just trying to kind of soften up my edges because it's not perfect. So I'm kind of messing up my edges a little bit by adding kind of stray hairs coming out. Okay. We're good. How's everybody doing tonight? We didn't ever really say hi to everybody.
Hi, everybody. How you doing? Welcome to tonight's show.
Kind of just jumped right in, didn't we? Well, I hope you guys are staying safe, and if you're getting out doing stuff again, wearing a mask. I know that's controversial, but not just for you. It's for everybody else around you, too. My public service announcement of the day. Don't leave me mean comments. But I am a mom, so I have mom instincts. Gotta protect everybody. All right, I'm gonna call that done. Fun, huh? Let's sign it. Sweet, super chat. Okay.
Yes, some super chat. The first super chat was from Laura Taylor, and she says, "Love your art." ...
Yay.
So
Thank you, Laura.
Thank you, Laura. And then the second one was from Laura, and she said, "One more because I know YouTube takes a chunk."
That's sweet. That is so sweet. I appreciate that.
And later on, she
Hilarious.
added another comment, which I think is appropriate here. It says, "I am a nurse and fortunate to be working. Thank you for giving me the visual R&R that soothes the soul."
Wow. Thank you for doing what you're doing. That is very, very, very brave right now. I know so many people are in your situation, and I'm glad to be working from home with all this going on, and I know that what you're doing is super, super important. So it's funny looking at these. The I can't help it. The longer we do it, the more detailed I'm getting with it. Like you look at the first one we did, and it was like super, super rough, and then the second one was a little bit more detailed, and then the third one's more, and then like this one is way, way more detailed. Oh well, I try. I can't always. I think we could stop there. Isn't that beautiful? That is really, really loving this series. So if you like it too, give me a thumbs up. Let me know in the comments. I'm planning on continuing the series, but I always like to get feedback from you guys to make sure that I'm on the right track and that you're enjoying these. So, and if you paint them, you can share them with me. I've got all my social media links down in the description. That Facebook group that I was talking about, Thankful Art, that is on Facebook, that is a safe place to share your art. All the meanies get kicked out. So anybody who's not encouraging does not get to stay in the group. So, and we are very, very, very strict on that. So we take that very seriously. We want you guys to have a good experience with your painting and be encouraged to continue trying. So that's the main thing, just to continue to try.
And for everybody who has joined late, they missed the beginning of the show, there's a link down below this video.
Ah, yes.
To win some canvases from Fredrix. So
Yeah,
if
I'll show you the canvas real quick.
show
It's
more,
huge.
and then go down there and you can see that.
Sorry.
and you can win. So if you join late, go down there, click that link, and I believe it's you.
They are, actually, these are 10-inch canvases. I said they were 12-inch. They're not. They're 10-inch canvases. So they're up high, up there. Mark's going to grab one. But if you go to my Instagram page, you can enter there. You can also enter from this video on YouTube here. There's a link down in the description of this video. So you go down to the description, click the little arrow down. It'll drop down. It'll show the link to where you can enter to win the Fredrix canvases. They're US only, and it's going to run for 1 week. So next Tuesday, we're going to announce the winners of all the giveaways. So here's the canvases you'll be winning. 3 of these. They're a set. Look at how large they are. This is why I can't do my camera is as far out as it'll go, and this is so it's not gonna happen. But the edge, I was trying to show the edge here. So there's the edge. It's tilted back
At a 45?
at a 40, yeah, something like that. So it's called a float canvas. So they're pretty cool, and they come in all kinds of different sizes. He sent me some 9x12, so I'll be definitely using the 9x12s to do a series. And but yeah, so there'll be 3 of those. So they're 12 by 36 each. So if you put the 3 together, they're 36 by 36. So you can have a nice triptych painting set that you can do, 3. It'll make a massive painting for your wall. So it'd be really, really cool. So
3 stickmen. 3 tanks. All kinds of possibilities.
So anyhow, like I said, there's a link down in the description of this video. You can click on that. It'll ask for your email, and that's just so that we can contact you. It'll put you on my newsletter list, but if you want, you can just unsubscribe from that list as soon as you get your first email from me. Totally fine. You won't hurt my feelings, but it does help us keep in contact. We do not spam you, I promise. We don't sell them. We're just using the email list so that we can contact our followers directly. So it makes it easier for us to let you know what we're doing. And we send out an email once a week, and that's it. So anyhow, so yeah, that's down in the description. So you can win that canvas from Fredrix. So thank you to them for doing that. It's pretty awesome. And again, US only. And then also on Instagram, you can go to my Instagram page, Thankful Art at Instagram. Instagram.com/thankfulart, I think is how you get to it. And there'll be the information there about how to enter on Instagram. So you and a friend can win. And you can enter as many times as you want. You can enter on both. There's no restrictions. And then we're going to be giving away another set during our bingo for my patrons on Thursday night for our bingo party that we're doing. So it's going to be really fun.
Other prizes during the
Tons of prizes.
bingo, which is not going to be restricted to US only. It'll be international. So
Right. Yeah, we're going to give like brushes, and we've got a couple paintings of mine that we're going to give away. I don't know which ones yet. I haven't picked them yet. We're going to give away some paintings and
stickers,
mugs, travel mugs that Fredrix sent us, and gift cards to Amazon in your country. So yeah, it'll be fun. That'll be bingo. I think we're going to do it at least once a month if we can figure it out how to work it. If it works, we'll see. This is our test one. Calling it a quarantine paint party, but we're really not going to be painting. We're going to be playing bingo. So the title is a little deceptive. All right, let's call that good. We're already 49 minutes into the second hour. So all right, thanks guys for watching. Again, leave a thumbs up, give subscribe, all that good stuff, and we will see you on Saturday. Thanks for watching. Bye.